Hi everybody, this is Abby with Scrappin' Abby, and I'm getting ready to work on a card. This is for a good friend of my husband and mine. He actually works with her husband, and she recently lost her mother, and she's an only child, so of course, as you can imagine, it was, it's heartbreaking. And I've also lost a parent. My mother's living, it was my dad. So I just kind of want to make her card, not so much a sympathy card, but more of a thinking of you type of card. And so one of my goals was to try to dig into my Websters pages massive stash that I have. I always get the warehouse kits when they have those, and so the papers are just so pretty and everything to me, and I just kind of like to look at them more than, and I don't use them as much as I should. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to kind of dig into that stash of different embellishments and papers and trims and things, and to create this card. So I just kind of wanted to share with you really quickly kind of where my thought process is going, and then of course it sometimes looks completely different when I get done, and sometimes it looks pretty much spot on from what I was thinking originally. So what I'm doing is the base of the card is actually going to be, I was digging through, and this is left over from another project. This isn't actually Webster's pages, but it's I don't know, it's like coordinations, I can't remember which, but I like it because you can distress this one, and it's got that yellow kind of mustard tone underneath, and so that's going to be the base of the card. And then I'm kind of pulling from this paper as far as the palette for the different sprays, and then the inking I'll do in some of the trims, but I think it's just really pretty. So I'm going to use a portion of this, and then some of the accent will be this yellow and then this brown, which I think looks really nice together. I like that. It's kind of got a brown, and it's kind of got this really nice kind of green in the background. I think those colors work really well together. And then kind of add in a little bit of dark brown as well. So that's kind of the color palette as far as the base of the card. And then these are the different Lindy sprays that I plan on using. Of course, as you guys know, it always changes up, just depends on how I kind of go with the card. But this is kind of sort of the color palette I'm thinking of for the sprays. And then I'm going to be incorporating a tag to stamp my sentiment on, I think. We'll see. And then this isn't obviously Webster's pages, but it's Prima. But I'm going to be using this portion of the stencil on the card because I really want to mess with that a little bit too, play with it. I've got that in the warehouse kit from Prima, so I'm really excited to play with that one. And just to kind of bring in some of the natural tones of this as well, I wanted to use a bit of this burlap that I had left over from another project, so I'll incorporate that somehow. And the flowers, again, trying to use up some of my Webster stuff. Not use it all, because I would have to make about probably 200 cards, because I have a lot of it, but just to kind of get into the stash I have and start utilizing. So I want to try to put as much Webster's as I could on this project. So these are the flowers, and then I have these little sparklers. You can tell I've been using some already. And then I'm not sure which trims, obviously, not the red and stuff, but maybe this lace or a bit of this brown. I'm thinking maybe this one, maybe use some Lindy sprays on that. I really like the feel of this one. This is like a cotton kind of a trim there, and it's actually pretty wide. It's pretty, that's a really nice one. Or maybe even incorporating a little bit of this mini pom-pom trim on the card as well. So we'll see. And then just for texture purposes, I might use one of these what do they call these? Design threads. They're embroidery shapes is what they're called. So I might use one of those, I'm not sure. And then even though this isn't part of Webster's pages, I kind of like the color, the tones of this one and the texture of this paper. You can kind of see, it's, let me show you in the white, probably a bit easier. You can see the texture in there. It's the pebbled stack from DCWV. And then the sentiment I'm going to be using, this is just a stamp set I purchased from HSN or something like eons ago. This one here says Thinking of You. I think that's really pretty. I like the font of that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with the card. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of get started, and I will be back with the completed card for my friend. See you shortly. Okay, crafty peeps, here is the completed card. I just finished it up this morning, actually. I really like how this turned out. I, added a couple different elements to it that I didn't originally plan on, which of course happens in the creative process. But I'm going to share with you really quickly the items that I used that I didn't share in the first part of the video, or the ones that I dialed down and selected, and then I'll show you the card up close. So as far as the trims, I showed you a whole bunch from Webster's pages, because this was the point, was to try to use up, start using some of the papers and ribbons and things like that from that the different warehouse kits that I've purchased. So these are the two trims that I ended up using from Webster's pages. I really love this one. Excuse me. And I wish I had some more. This is very, very pretty. That's all I have left. So I'm going to have to kind of ration this out. But it's this really pretty lace. It's got this really pretty kind of beaded, like, you know, trim at the bottom. It's not beaded, is what I didn't mean to say that. But it's like a crochet or something. I'm not sure what that type of, you know, work is. But I really think this is so pretty. And it feels kind of heavy. And I like that. And then I end up using this brown trim as well, just to kind of accent. And then, as you can see, I use some of the crinkle ribbon from 3 Girl Jam. So this is from the new and improved seasons bundle, and it's only $5.97, and you get 3 different colors. This one is the Halloween Harvest, and the reason I chose to use this one with this card is because it has a mix of some golden ribbon, hints of brown, black and purple and green, and it has a little bit of orange in here too. But those colors really go well with this paper collection, so I was really excited to be able to incorporate that because I love using the crinkle ribbon. So those are the trims I used. I added some gold accent from Smooch. Loving that stuff. The ink I chose was Walnut Stain from Tim Holtz. And then these are the Lindy sprays I ended up using on the flowers, which I'll show you up close. This is the Glitz Spritz, the Scintillating Silver. And then on elements of the card, another Glitz Spritz. This is the Cactus Gold. I love this one. It's fast becoming a favorite of mine. There's lots of favorites of Lindy's I love. And then this one is the Moon Shadow Mist. And this is the Gossamer Gold. And then for the, I used these 2 colors in the stencil medium, or excuse me, the modeling paste medium. This is a Moonshadow Mist, and it's the Van Dyke Sepia, or Sepia, however you want to say it. And then a Starburst, the Fresh Lilac Violet. So those are the sprays I used. And then now I'm going to show you the card. So this is the tag. I did a little bit of stenciling with that one mask from Prima. You can't really see it too much now. It's kind of a hint, which is kind of what I was going for. And then I used the Cactus Gold on that. And then I went back over with that Gossamer Gold and kind of spritzed around. And then just all over bits and parts of the card, you're going to be able to see where I used the gold paint from Smooch. I just think that's kind of a nice touch. I put it on the flowers. This is a cluster from the Websters collection that I shared with you guys. And then I sprayed some of the Scintillating Silver. It might not pick it up on the camera, but in real life it's very shimmery. It's very pretty. It just kind of adds another element to the little flower bouquet and kind of makes it pop off the card a little bit more, I think. Here's where I layered the 2 trims from Webster's Pages here, just to kind of give a little more dimension. I popped the tag up off the card with some pop dots, and then I tied some more of the Halloween Harvest crinkle ribbon around the flowers, and then also on the sides of the top of the tag. And this here is that white trim again from Webster's Pages. And I just did some layering, as you guys can see here. This is the stencil I use from Prima. It's the opposite side that's on this card here. You can barely see it, but you know, it's really cool in person, the effect of that. I like it. And so this is where I just used some, you know, light white modeling paste, and I added a couple different of those 2 sprays from Lindy's that I shared with you guys. And that's a fun way to color your mediums besides just using, you know, alcohol ink or craft paint, which I've done before as well, because the shimmer in these is really, really cool. And these are some little, I forget what, the sparklers from Webster's Page. I had 3 left, so I thought I'd go ahead and use that pack up and put them on there. And I love the dark little splits and spots of that Gossamer Gold. It has such a nice shimmer to it. I didn't want to make the card look dark, and I didn't want to make it look gloomy, like, you know, tons of blues and dark color tones, because it is kind of a sympathy card, but I'm not making it where obviously where it said, you know, sympathy. I wanted her to know that I was thinking of her. It's been a few weeks since her mom passed away. And, you know, I've gone through that where I've lost a parent, and, you know, I've even lost a brother, and, you know, lots of, you know, not lots, but, you know, I'm in my, you know, I'm 41, so I've experienced loss of friends and stuff in my life already. But I know it's really difficult, especially when it's family, because we've lost, you know, I've lost my grandmother this last year. And, you know, everybody's very supportive and there for you, you know, once they hear about the news of the death, and then up to the funeral, and then even a little bit afterwards. But sometimes I think it's, people get on with life, which is totally normal, but then sometimes they forget, like, you know, a month or 2 months down the road of like, gosh, I wonder how so-and-so is doing since their mom passed away, or since their brother or their loved one or their really close friend passed away, because it's after those times of when all the hubbub of family and friends being around you that you're alone. And it's a few months down the road that you start to get, you know, you get really sad because you get lonely, which is part of the grieving process, I know. But that's why I kind of wanted to make this more of a thinking of you card. So she would know, excuse me, that even though it's been a few weeks and probably almost 3 weeks by the time I get this mailed out to her, that I'm still thinking of her and keeping her in my thoughts and letting her know that, you know, I'm here for her if she needs that. So that's the purpose of why this is a thinking of you instead of an actual sympathy card. And this is the inside. I didn't write in it yet, of course, because I was saving to do that after I did the video. This is kind of a darker background, more than what I typically use for the matting piece when I write a card, but I'm going to be using a dark marker so it'll show through, okay? And I might even end up putting a lighter cardstock inside. I'm not sure yet, but you know, I just kind of want to keep pretty simple on the inside, so I had enough room to write a note to her and just kind of let her know that she's on my mind and we're thinking about her. So this is my card. Love the dimension. You guys know I love lots of texture and dimension on my projects. I think it's a lot of fun. It's just really interactive when you touch it and you feel it, and you can feel these different elements on the card. And you know, I love that about the crafting. That's one of my many favorite things about crafting. So that's my card. So I'm going to go ahead and get this video edited, put up on my blog, take some pictures, and get the blog post live so you guys can check out the full supply list that I use. Thanks for stopping by and checking out another Scrap and Abby project. Hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. Take care.